It's draft day 2020, and one team you obviously always got to watch around this time is Danny Ainge and the Boston Celtics. They're always sneaky. They always make a move, and you're kind of like, wow, they really just did that. I can't believe they got away and fleeced that from this team or that team. Well, the Celtics to me are literally, they're one player away, but I can't put my finger on what that one player is or who it is. I think it's a center. I think it's an athletic center that can catch alleys and also block shots. I think it's Jared Allen. I think that's the last piece to that Celtics puzzle. But there were some other trade talks that the Celtics have been in the last couple of days that have released to the public and leaked out. One was revolving around their guy, Gordon Hayward, who, Gordon Hayward is owed about $34.2 million. He has a player option. They've extended the deadline till after the draft Thursday, both sides. So the Celtics and Gordon Hayward's team, they agreed to just extend the deadline out to see if Gordon wants to opt into that $34 million. Does he want to restructure his contract for maybe more years? I know Gordon's not happy with his situation in Boston. And honestly, he ain't balled out enough to get $34 million a year. But hey, man, if you got $34 million in front of you, I'm not mad if he accepts that. Gordon don't owe anybody in Boston anything if he opts to take that money from them. I know he had an injury, a big injury, but if he wants his money, it's his contract. He can take his money. But again, they've extended that deadline for the two sides to come to some sort of an agreement or disagreement on Thursday. So Gordon has till Thursday to accept his player option on that last year of his deal. If he doesn't, he's a free man. If he does, maybe that means the Celtics have found a team that's willing to trade for Gordon. One team that was apparently somewhat interested in Gordon Hayward, we're finding out was the New Orleans Pelicans. So we're finding out that the Celtics offered Gordon and a first round pick to the Pelicans for Jrue Holiday, but obviously that fell through because Jrue Holiday is now a Milwaukee Buck. So that was something that was clearly on the horizon, and it was one of the moves that the Celtics were willing to make, giving up a pick. You would have to attach something to that salary that's such a big deal. The Pelicans can take on that type of money because most of their guys are young. They're not paying a lot of guys right now. So they could take on that type of cap room as long as you give them something that they wanted in return. But that deal didn't get done. So now we transition to another trade that apparently the Celtics were considering making, and that was with the Chicago Bulls. Apparently the Bulls are looking to acquire Kemba Walker from the Celtics. That would be a big deal. A lot of people believe Zach LaVine, just like a couple other guards in our league, like a Devin Booker who just got Chris Paul, and Bradley Beal's getting John Wall back from injury. A lot of people believe if you attach a point guard to Zach LaVine out east, his game is going to the next level, which will mean that Chicago Bulls team, now under the tutelage and leadership of Billy Donovan, a lot of people believe that team will go to the next level. So that is a rumor that's been in the atmosphere. Maybe, just maybe, as we get closer to the actual draft, maybe the Celtics will be more inclined to move off of Kemba Walker. Because I have to admit, and I know Kemba was dealing with some injuries last postseason, that team looked better in Boston when Marcus Smart was on the basketball. He seemed to gel better with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And I've said this numerous times. I felt like Tatum and Brown respected Smart more than they did Kemba. But Kemba's the all-star making the big money. So that's a problem. And the Bulls would love to have a starting point guard of Kemba's caliber. Maybe the Celtics don't need him. If the Celtics could go get a big man, and I don't know what the Bulls are offering. I'm hearing it's potentially their pick and Wendell Carter. So that's what I'm hearing. Wendell Carter was a big out of Duke. I'm not sure if he's the guy that I'm looking for. I'm thinking more of Jared Allen from the Brooklyn Nets. But maybe Wendell Carter is the guy that the Celtics need. And maybe they feel like Marcus Smart is their starting point guard. Now, I would be a little concerned of making Smart my starting guard like every game. But I did see that team, that young team, Tatum and Brown, in the playoffs. They responded better to Smart than they did Kemba. And there is something there to that. Now, again, making Marcus Smart the starting point guard of your franchise, I would be concerned as hell. But, hey, at some point you got to listen to your stars, right? If that's what Tatum wants, if that's what Brown wants, we'll see as we get closer to draft night. Would you be here for a Kemba to Bulls transition or trade? Because there is rumors in the atmosphere that the Bulls are trying to get Kemba Walker away from the Celtics. The trade would center around Wendell Carter and Kemba, and maybe the Bulls pick in tonight's draft. Y'all let me know in the comment box below. I'm out.